I conducted a survey where I asked Honkai Star Rail players who their favorite and least favorite characters are, and the results were genuinely surprising. Survey takers were tasked with ranking playable characters up to you and Lee on a scale from 1 to 5. 1 being you absolutely hate them, and 5 being you love them. I posted the survey link on Twitter and my YouTube community tab, and the results came pouring in. Several thousand of them, in fact. Thank you to everyone who participated. After a few weeks of collecting data, I calculated the averages, and I now present to you the top 10 most loved characters and the top 10 most hated characters in Honkai Star Rail, according to you guys. Let's start on a positive note. We're gonna do the top 10 most loved characters first. Starting off at number 10, Mr. Wilt Yang, with an average score of 3.92 out of 5. I'm a little surprised, if I'm being honest. I feel like he's like an understated character. Perhaps we have some influence from the Honkai Impact 3rd players that come in and just already like Wilt because he was in a previous game. He is a very cool guy. He's super powerful, controlling black holes and whatnot. Overall, just a stand-up guy. Number 9 is Miss Himiko, with an average score of 4.05. Again, a little bit more of the Honkai Impact 3rd favor, perhaps a little bit in play here. She is gorgeous. She is powerful. I feel like she's the classic. She's like the classic beautiful woman character from the game. Number 8, Jing Yuan, with a score of 4.055. Just barely beat out Himiko. Jing Yuan is so cool. He's powerful. He has an awesome look to him, the voice, and he's also obviously very important to the storyline on the Xianzhou Luofu. So we've gotten a lot of time to get to know him and enjoy his personality more than some of the characters who aren't around as often. Number 7 is Firefly, with an average score of 4.07 out of 5. Personally, I didn't really think much of her when I first saw her, but then as the story progresses, you get so attached to this girl so quickly. Not only is she so sweet, but she's also a Stellaron hunter. She has the Sam alter ego, but also just a very complex character with a lot of sides to her. And she's a cutie patootie as well. Number 6, Boothill, average score of 4.09. I was at first a little surprised about this one, but look at him. He's so unique. The fact that he doesn't swear and just says random words is actually hilarious. He's one of the most entertaining characters in the game, in my opinion. When he appears in the cutscene, you know it's about to be a good time. And he just looks really cool. Number 5 is Acheron, average score of 4.12. Every Hoyoverse game has to have their ride-in XYZ. This is the Honkai Star Rail version, so we all knew she was gonna be popular. My personal favorite move from her was the one trailer of her and Black Swan dancing. Actually insane. She did have a big part in the Penacony plotline, but I do feel like it was a little bit more subdued than some of the other characters. Maybe her personality is a little bit dry compared to some of the others as well. That's just my 2 cents though. Number 4 is Robin. Her average was 4.13. Penacony's pop star herself. Of course she would be popular. I think this was a genius move on Hoyoverse's part, releasing this character alongside a literal album of songs that we can listen to. Similar to Firefly, she also has the emotional impact from the storylines. If a character can make you cry or make you feel intense emotion, I feel like you get more connected to them and you enjoy them more. Coming in 3rd place, most loved character, we have Kafka. Her average score was 4.18. Are we surprised? I'm surprised she's not higher up. I know she's in 3rd, but I would not have been surprised at all if she was number 1. I feel like Kafka is one of those characters that both people think is attractive physically, but also like cool enough where you would want to be like them, which makes her equally popular amongst both male and female audiences. Not to mention her amazing trailer. If you guys have seen that, you know, actually the best trailer in all of Honkai Star Rail in my personal opinion. Number 2 is Adventurine, with an average of 4.21. I was not expecting this one. He's so popular. I think the 2.1 Trailblaze mission is what really solidified Adventurine in everyone's hearts. We saw his backstory, the tragedy that he's gone through, and this like villain origin story that culminated in us fighting him as a boss, and then the eventual redemption after that. He's gone through so much, and that really solidifies characters as being more impactful and more memorable in people's hearts. So while it seems surprising at first, when you think about it, I get it. And the number 1 most loved playable character in Honkai Star Rail, according to you guys, is Stell, with an average score of 4.29 out of 5. This baffled me when I got the results in. Kalis wasn't even in the top 10, and he's like the exact same person, but a boy. What? In my opinion, perhaps this has to do with Honkai Star Rail having a predominantly male audience. Some people might claim that they like the female MC better because they want to try things out on the different side. They like her design better. Therefore, it makes sense that if you really like the MC, you're probably gonna like the one that you personally play as. And if more people are playing as Stell, then they're gonna gravitate towards her in general. What do you guys think? If you're a Stell enjoyer, why do you like her more than Kayla's? And also, what do you think? Why do you think she's the top most loved character in the game, in your personal opinion? All right, after the twists and turns of the most loved characters, we are now on to the top 10 most hated characters. By the way, remember that this is only playable characters, no NPCs, no bosses. Coming in at number 10 is Tingyun. Her average score was 3.15 out of 5. Poor little Tingyun. I feel like her score was influenced because she was being taken over by Fentilia. Yes, she turned out to be kind of a bad guy, but no, it wasn't really her fault. I feel like we're definitely gonna learn more about what happened there later on in future patches. Number 9 is Locha. His average score was 3.153, putting him just below Tingyun. Speaking of not trusting somebody, Locha is also one of the least trustworthy people in this entire game. That must be a factor here. If people don't trust them, then they're not gonna like them. Carrion is coughing around, Lord knows what's in there. Number 8 is Lynx, with an average score of 3.11. In my opinion, this one is because she's just not very well known to people. I have to admit, she's probably the character that I know the least about, so I can only assume that other people might feel similarly. A lot of the younger characters are generally not really loved by many of the fans as well. She's just a very neutral person. Number 7 is Luca. His average score was 3.07. He's loud, he's happy and boisterous. Yes, he does have a reason for acting that way. If you've played through his story quest, you know that he has a very sweet side to him, but I feel like a lot of people take him at face value. They might see the way he acts and talks and they're just like, nah, not for me. This might be a hot take, but I think when his light cone came out, people saw that picture of him with his shirt off and they're all like, ooh, who's that mysterious redheaded man? And then he came out in the game and it's like, oh, he's like that, huh? So I personally think that that divide is what made people maybe turn against him and not like him very much. Number 6 is Yanqing. His average score was 3.06. Similar to what I said before, people tend to not gravitate as much towards the smaller child characters. He is really sweet, but I can see how people might think he's always kind of butting into things. Classic, I can do it kind of attitudes don't always resonate with people. I still like you, Yanqing, because I think you look like Zidane from Final Fantasy IX. Number 5 is Pela, with an average of 3.02. Not too surprised here. I'm not a big fan of Pela, so I can see how other people might not be as well. She's just not the most prevalent character in the storyline. She was involved in the museum side quest, but maybe not everybody did that, or they just didn't really care. Number 4 is Jade. Her average was 2.97. Before Jade was even released, she was a controversial character. There's a lot going on morally with her story, especially when you consider how high up Aventurine is on the most loved list. It makes sense that those same types of people hate Jade by association. More so than just her personality, I heard a lot of people saying that they just didn't like the way she looked in general. Number 3 is Bailu. Her average score was 2.93. I all but guarantee a lot of this is because people get really mad at her when she steals their 50-50. But other than that, I think her personality is kind of cool, but she is this like little kid model and she's sassy, which doesn't always sit really well with people. Number 2 most hated character is Arlen. His average was 2.74, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. One of the most slandered characters in this entire game. I think a lot of people hate him because of his kit. As somebody who doesn't really care about gameplay personally, I've never had a problem with Arlen, but even I've heard about these tales. Other than that, similar to Pela and to Lynx, he has sort of NPC energy where he was earlier in the story but didn't play like the biggest role. Maybe a lot of people have sort of forgotten about him since then. And the number 1 most hated playable character in Honkai Star Rail as of version 2.4 is little baby Hook. Her average score was 2.65 out of 5. She's a kid character, she's kind of a brat, and she's not very notable in the storyline. Am I surprised? Only mildly. I was kind of expecting Arlen to be dead last, but I think there's more people than you would expect that purposely say no thank you to any kid character in general, and perhaps people don't really resonate with her design either. I will say, with an average score of 2.6, that is still above mid. Wait, is that right? Look, I'm no mathematician, but I swear that means that every character is above a 2.5, which would be the pure neutral point. So claps to you, Honkai Star Rail, for creating a cast of characters who, despite all the odds, everyone seems to at least partially enjoy. Real quick before we go, I always ask a few additional questions at the end of the survey. First up, name a character I didn't list above that you love. Sunday, Fei Xiao. Yes, he was not quite in the game yet when I made this list. Screwlum. Siobhan, that's a very common one. Svarog, yes. Lots of Screwlum, Sunday, and Pom Pom. Your mom. Thank you. Your mom again, guys. Eating. Mr. Tail. Oh, that's fun. IDK. You with a winky face. Thank you. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Name a character I didn't list above that you hate with a burning passion. Sunday, Scott. Clocky. Ooh, that's a good one. Lordly Trash Can. That's so real. He's so mean though. I feel like all the Scotts are like recency bias because of version 2.4. The deer. Yeah, me too. I hate him. Dory. Yan Ching. He's literally on the thing and they felt compelled to say him again. And final question, who would win the fight, Pom Pom or Paimon? Pom Pom cleared with 75% of the vote. Hey, this might be biased because we're playing Honkai Star Rail and not Genshin, but I might have to agree. All right, that concludes our survey. Again, thank you so much to everybody who participated. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I plan to do more in the future, so be sure to go follow me on Twitter if you'd like to stay up to date on when there will be future community surveys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you have any opinions about these results, and if you have any ideas for future community surveys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye!